Alright, there we go. Oop, I should save the stream information. Okay. All the changes being saved. Alright. Oh. Okay, stream is up. Alright. Alright. So hopefully, yeah, I'm actually pretty hungry, so I should probably get something to eat while people just filter in. Yeah, actually, I should go heat my pizza. Oh. Hello to anyone who joined. I'm currently getting dinner because this might take a while. We're just gonna wait for people to filter in. Alright. Oh, finally got a new coaster too, so now I don't have to keep using paper towels to keep my desk clean. Alright. Well, yeah, we're just gonna wait a while for people to filter in, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, still 2 minutes before you're supposed to start. I'm just trying to eat dinner as quietly as possible. So I apologize if you can hear me chewing. But yeah. So I had to go through, I went through the raw TXT essentially of the game. And then I had to go find everything I referenced. Because this route is like littered with references. I gotta find where we are so that way I can have my notes. Fixed, cut, and paste. Is this where I'm supposed to be? Ah, nope, I scrolled way too far. Whoops. Here it is. Okay, I'm in the right place. Okay, well, it's 7 o'clock. I'll give it, like, a few more minutes. Mainly because I'm still finishing my pizza. I had a meeting with someone because we were trying to sort out some code, and it ran a little long, so that's what happened. Yeah, coding meetings will eat up a lot of time. Alright. I'm done with my pizza. I'm gonna just quickly do some quick checks here. Yeah. Just gotta make sure that this won't crash on me. Because, I don't know, it might just be, I was streaming some Lennon earlier, and so the thing is that one of the issues I've had with Lennon is that it crashes if I alt-tab out of it, because I don't want to have to close the game and then, reopen it back up, but, yeah, so I'm not quite sure. Alright. There we go. Let me just make sure everything's good to go. Okay, yeah, we are good and ready to go. And then I remember, Nell reminded me that, yes, I am going to give my honest review of the Sayuri route at the end of this, since we'll sort through all of my crap first. Woo! My bad. Okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. I thought I saw something funky. Okay, so we're gonna skip over a few lines. Okay, so, yep. Let's see. Yeah. So, MC writes, yeah. So, his poem is mostly just, like, topic. So this is all mostly filler stuff here. And then we get over to... Yeah, I love abusing scene transitions. Whoop! Okay. Hi, and then let's see. Where's the more? Yeah. So, just this thing here where Monika's smiling, but MC feels like it's empty. That is so it's supposed to sort of be like, well, you had your chance at the festival, but then things sort of fell back. You don't exactly have that open. You don't have that opening anymore. So, this is where MC doubts, like, maybe you should have done something a little more. You don't know if you missed your critical opportunity or not. And then here you say, I should have walked you home. And that right there changes Monika's expression. And then she laughs because, it's the obligatory, oh, let's walk home together, anime cliche. Okay, no, that's just dust. Where you walk home with them. So, when you tell her, oh, I should have walked home with you, then Monika's like, oh yeah, because that's supposed to happen in the game. Nah ha ha. And so MC figures it out. That's how it would have been, especially because she already explicitly told you, like, oh yeah, I know it's the Monika route. And so that's why, she's still putting on that face of being the president. And then let's see. Yep. Let's see. Let's keep going. Yeah, there's that wall between us again, like when I first met her on the rooftop. Same thing as before, just sort of hammering that point in that there's a, you had your chance at the festival and you might have gotten a bit through, but not completely. And Monika's teetering back towards how she used to think. And then, of course, here is everyone's, this is mostly just filler stuff, yeah, and there's that small hint. I mean, you could kind of consider it foreshadowing. It's the line before this one. Of course, if Monika is right, unless the game lets it happen, there is no next year. Ha ha. Oh, hello. Yeah, but, so you can see that as kind of foreshadowing. Kind of like, yeah, haha, you remember that. The game's not gonna let it happen. I think this was mostly, I didn't think I needed to add this line where it says, there's nothing, let's see. It's already hard enough for a person to accept that they'll die, but how much more that your life doesn't even end with death, rather than there's nothing more laid out for you or anything. No, I do not have potatoes. But, so, it's MC hammering it a little and more that, yeah, it really sucks that it's a game. And then sort of just showcasing Monika. This is mostly just telling. I think that you should already get enough of an idea, but I think it was just supposed to hammer it in that MC is saying, yeah, it's pretty amazing that Monika can handle this. And then this is just another filler scene. Let's keep going. Yep. Let's just keep cooking. So, yeah. I mean, I guess they're technically not filler scenes, but some of the dialogue, I will say, is just meant to smooth between transitions over. So it's like important scene. Then you just have this like little tiny dialogue that doesn't really advance the plot line so much as it does carry you along. Let's see here. And then, let's see, thinking hard about something. This is Monika playing her club president role, and then you try to tell her about, oh yeah, it's kind of like that, and then she reverts back. And then this was supposed to show that, Monika tries really hard to keep that club president persona about her, and it's supposed to show as well that she opened herself up on the rooftop, but now she's kind of overcompensating for it. So you can, what is it here? Yeah, I fell right into her trap. She knows what I was getting at, but chose not to go after it. Monika knows what you're doing and is putting a stop to it. And so, it's supposed to show that she's not dumb, obviously. That sort of thing. So, that was kind of a small thing that I like to do, is just that tiny scene right there shows that, this push and pull between the, between Monika and the MC. So, yep, this is MC. That was just a little more of MC thinking about why he actually sort of believes Monika. Signature call. So, yep. I think all of these... Okay, so this is where I was, really lazy with coding. I can actually... Do you guys want me to pull up what the code looks like? Because I am super lazy about this. Oh my god. This is terrible. Let me... So yeah, last time I didn't show you guys what the code looks like. I'm going to show you what the code looks like here. And it's going to be really bad. Alright, so here we go. Transition into this. And so this is what the code looks like. It should pop up in a bit here. I'm just waiting for it to transition properly. Okay, so it's time to share poems. Just do this. Instead of using the actual poem, the poems and just rewriting the, just having it there, I was really lazy, and you just sort through, instead, because the way that Dan has it, Dan is actually pretty good about his code, where there's a check that says, is it the first poem? And if it says, who should I share my poem with first? And then there's a variable that gets flipped. And so once you do that, then it says, who should I share with next? Me, on the other hand, I was like, well, this is a very linear portion, so I'm going to be super lazy about this. And then, so yeah, you can see it just calls a poem 4 times. And then here's Yuri's poem, here's Natsuki's poem, here's Sayori's poem, here's Monika's poem, and then it just returns, and then after this, it calls the end of the day, which is right here. So that was fun. If anyone has decompiled the code already, they'll know that I was super lazy writing this code, especially with the Yuri route. The Yuri route, I was just so tired and exhausted, and I just wanted to get this stupid thing done. So, I didn't even format it nicely. Because all the other code looks very nice, looks very neat, like this. The Yuri route doesn't even have that. It's just it's a mess everywhere, and it just functions, and that's what I cared about. So that was pretty fun. Oh, I should probably walk through the whole code base sometime and just do a showcase of how I was really lazy. Anyways, all of their poems, except for Monika's, are of course mostly just filler. That is that is not something I'm gonna try to obscure. Yes, most of everyone's poems are mostly just cute little filler, and of course no one shows I mean, I can pull up the Yuri code and I'll show you guys the difference between what nice code looks like, the nice neat code, and then the nice the terrible code of the Yuri route. Anyways, Monika's thing, yeah, as usual, she looks upset at reading home. Of course, MC shoots himself in the foot here, where he's like, hey, are you, it's is this your way? And then MC's like, hey, Monika, are you okay? And then that allows Monika to recover back into her club president persona. So, I think... Yep. And then, let's see, good control over the image. Yeah, so that was mostly just supposed to be a little thing. And then here's my poem. As you can tell, I didn't want to write anyone's poems. So all I did was just a nice little scene transition because I'm not going to write like 5 gajillion poems. I can't do poetry. Okay, well, I can do poetry, but they're all my poems. I could not write poetry that emulates what the girls do. Haha, nope. My style is way too pronounced. It's not happening. And then this, so of course Monika's thing is the one that's not filler. So, expect as much. And then, because it's like, oh, yeah, I can tell what you're saying, Monika, because, you're the only one who can. And then, so, Monika's poem, you don't get to see it because TK is lazy. But, by the way, is my volume too loud? I had to fix the volume for another game I was doing because the volume gets messed up. Am I good for you guys, or is it too loud? Just let me know. And then back to this. So Monika's poem is okay, cool. Monika's poem is implied to be like you don't get to see it explicitly, but then it's a lament because of course Monika's little thing, like she's hiding it between the lines that she's angsting essentially about her existence here. And then this is how it's going to be. And then, but it's also a declaration that says, don't come after me. Like, stop pursuing me. It's a bad idea. It's not going to matter. She won't care. Just let it be. And then, MC can't do that because he wants to protect Dat Smile. Yep. And then let's see. So let's just skip a little more text because this thing doesn't have too much about this. The most you get from this scene here is Sayori is essentially like, Sayori is pretty much being like, there's a line here where, let's see, I don't really know. I've been with Monika for a while now, but sometimes it feels like there's a big gap between us. You woman, stop resisting me. Hey, taken out of context, that could be really bad, but and that seemed to be something that a lot of people were like annoyed at, but were kind of strangely fine with it in the Monika route. Like, a lot of people just really, really wanted to hook up with Monika, but then they also, and it was a source of frustration for the entire route. But then there were a lot of people, but then I think most of those people recognized that it would seem like really disingenuous if Monika just folded like a house of cards and was like, I love you. So there's that too. I don't know. I guess I didn't take it. I guess I didn't take into account the what I should have taken. I mean, I guess this is where partial weakness was. Is I'm very used to writing traditional narratives, like narrative pieces, not VNs. So, I don't usually take into. Oh, hey, Slash is going on. I didn't take into account sort of how they would feel with that. I mean, I guess I can. I mean, I'm generally. I do take into account what I want my readers to be feeling at a particular time, but I guess there's something about like the intimacy of having a VN protagonist who's essentially supposed to be you, compared to where I write like a first person story with a different protagonist who has his own mindset and everything like that that's very clearly defined. So I guess that was kind of weakness on my part, is I'm not very used to writing where it's kind of like a blank insert. I'm very used to having a principled protagonist, let's put it that way. I really don't like writing protagonists that are like weak mentally. I like having them be very strong and mentally focused and all of that stuff. But yeah, so Sayori is doing some like dramatic irony things like, yo, there's a big gap between us. I'll never understand her completely. Don't know what to do. And then essentially this is supposed to just give MC that little push forward into trying to reach out further to Monika, because Monika just in the previous scene straight up told him, don't come after me. And that's Sayori's giving him that little push forward that says, you should go through it. You should do it. Just do it. So that's a little thing. Also, Sayori plays like a top wing woman in this route. Like, oh my god. Oh wait, I forgot. So we do have the Purist mod drinking game. When I'm not going to be reading everything, but if people are interested, maybe we should do a full Purist mod read through with the Purist mod drinking game. There is one of the rules, because you will die if you try to do it all in one shot though, is you take a shot every time Sayori does her like trademark laugh. You'll die, because I have counted. There are like 67 instances of Sayori saying in the Monika route alone. So you will die if you play by those rules and you try to do it all in one sitting. I will not be, if we do the drinking game, I will not be doing it with alcohol, or at least I will be doing it with, or at least I will break it up into like 20 portions, because there's no way. Yeah, death by pretty much. I will not do it with alcohol. I will likely do it with sparkling cider, because that won't kill me. Or if we do it with alcohol, it's going to have to be like, it's going to take at least 10, it's going to take at least like 10, 15 streams to get through the entire thing without killing myself or anyone else who's following along in the drinking game. So there's that. Anyways, let's just sleep this off. So yeah, here we go. So this scene again is just the characters being cute. Like, oh yeah, ship teasing. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Sayori's like, hey, maybe she does have a boyfriend, and then she smiles at you like, because you're supposed to be Monika's boyfriend. It's just cute, but it does nothing narratively speaking. Okay. Anyways, so I will say, so let's see. So this is the MC saying, or I skipped over it. The only way I can talk to her alone is going somewhere with her. If I talk to her in the school, she'll go back to playing her club president role or trying to elect a model student. But if I take her out of there, then she will be something different. She'll be out of her element. Like the MC has seen that she acts differently inside his house, that she opened up to him inside his house. That on the rooftop, things were different. She didn't have to play the club president role, etc. So, this is him going for a big shot at that. Okay. Whoa, I forgot I did Monika with that. With the that animation. So, anyways, Monika's saying, hey, instead of writing poems, let's write a song. This was purely done so I could shoehorn in your reality. I will not lie, this was done purely to shoehorn that song in. And I know that everyone, as soon as they saw this, they all knew that Monika's song was going to be Your Reality. So, yeah. Yeah, it was done purely for that. I have no shame in admitting that. Not going home with Sayori. And then it's like, yeah, everyone knows this scene. You ask Monika out on a date or a not date. Oh, it's not a date. it's a date, but it's not really a date. You know, it's totally not a date. Yay, let's go. And then, you know, I mean, I think it should have raised a few questions in people's heads when Monika was, because you know that Monika said, "Don't come after me," but then at the same time she's like, "Okay, I'll go on a date with you." Yeah. So this scene was kind of cute, but you know, I liked it because it kind of added a bit of narrative there was some narrative value to it, even though it was like just cute. Yeah. But you know, because you saw the previous day, Monika straight up told him like, "Hey, I don't want to, like, don't come after me." But then you do, but it's strange that she's the one then pursuing you. Like, she's saying, "Yeah, I'll go on the date with you." So it should raise questions in people's heads. Which I thought was, you know, it's just like small subtle things like that. You know, part of me is confused about it, but surely she could foresee it happening. So, you know that should have if Monika saying yes didn't pop questions in people's head, that should have been that. That should have raised a few questions in people's heads. Okay, don't run into Sayori on the way home. So, yes, essentially, just some filler. Yep, just some cute scenes. Doing my best, Sayori. Ganbate! Obligatory weeb shit. And then, of course, you know, definitely up. It's a date, but it's not a date. Oh, hey, look. Parfait Girls got its first episode this week. This was done purely so I could have an interaction scene with Natsuki where you talk about Parfait Girls. And it was just like that obligatory, hey, look, you still remember this thing, right? Alright, so... everyone kept saying they really wanted to have Monika in a casual outfit. And I will say that, you know, maybe we should have done that, but at the same time, a lot of the reasons why I wrote those things in was to deal with art limitations. I mean, yeah, the artists were on board, but I didn't want to really didn't want to ask the artists for a lot. I thought we had already asked plenty of them, which is why I was like, I'm going to cut it off, and I'm just going to make a narrative reason why Monika doesn't change out of her uniform. And that limitation gave rise to the whole happened by the third non-existent date. Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I think, were expecting in the second date where Monika changes mindset to be... I think they were expecting her to have changed her outfit, which I guess is true, but that's why I think I probably should have added a line in there where Monika mentions like, actually, I just feel really comfortable in it. Maybe I should just add a line where she jokes that it makes her look really good, or just joke that, or maybe I should have added like a smooth line in there that jokes that the MC has like a school uniform fetish. Or something like that. I mean, I could see the MC having a school uniform fetish. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, I could totally see it happening. Probably, that was probably something I could have overlooked. It's probably something I overlooked. Anyways, this was originally supposed to be like a nice plaza here. But then a lot of people... So there was a huge debacle that happened. I remember I heard about it over on... it spilled over from the DDMC, like the modding club server, from what I heard, where people got into like there was like a huge controversy or something where someone was using like copyrighted backgrounds without, and then and so there was like a huge issue there. For me, I didn't have for me I was just like, well, when we started this project, I was just essentially, I wrote every scene to be done like every scene was written with that I could take a background from a game that I had bought and then use that as the BG, and then just write the scenes from there. Because I'm gonna be honest, I never intended this when I started this project with like Sizz, Garnet, and was Null originally on board? I'm not sure if Null was originally on board, and Space. That was the plan. That's the draft 0 of Sayori's route. The reason why I wrote most of those scenes is because I had a BG in mind that I was like, hey, I know I own a VM that I can go take the BG from and use it and code it in. And that was how I was going to handle it. Right? So that's what I was going to do originally. But then, as we developed the project, and that was still my plan, was like, well, I'm going to so this scene had a plaza, and the plaza BG was taken from DS Array. But then there was this huge debacle about, we can't use BGs from like copyrighted sources or blah blah blah. So that's why. So this scene originally had the plaza from DS Array, but then I just had to rewrite one of the lines to say, oh yeah, we're actually just in this nice empty like park area in the middle of the city, because I don't know. For me, I didn't really mind too much. I mean, it was kind of a pain because I was like, well, the plan was write the scenes that the BG I could take from another game, and then I didn't expect this to be like a super serious project or anything, right? This was just something that was started for funsies, and then like whatever happened. If people like the writing, all right, neat. The game BGs that I had like taken would have just been like extra icing on the cake, blah blah blah. But then there's this huge debacle, so that's what happened there. Let's see. So this is just more little cute scenes. Let me see. Where's the? Let's get to work. Yeah, there's a lot of I would say skeletons in the closet, but there's not like too much like drama stuff really. But there's enough for that. I will say it did get to the point where I was seriously considering leaving the project. As in, I had a lot of my friends who had seen me from the start of this project, and then see me go through it. I had a lot of people who I knew telling me to quit. Actually, like they had seen that this project and the stress of like dealing with some of the people was very much taking a negative toll. Was very much having a negative effect on my health, and they were, and then they really started to ramp up and telling me to quit the project after. So I had actually gotten an offer from another guy who was. Who had like a full VN, and he had all the art and everything, but he wanted to rewrite all the text, and he needed someone who essentially had my interests, like had Norse mythology, like had some writing experience, and then also liked Gen Urobuchi or Urobuchi. I'm probably the Eurobutcher, essentially the guy who wrote Fate Zero and Madoka Magica. And that was right up my alley, because to me he's an inspiration. I love his works. I really like the way that he's able to make the world dark and gritty, but yet your interest is still captivated in it, like because there's enough of a light that you think something could happen. And so I really took after him writing wise, and so it was right up my alley. But like I was so burned out. And it was like so sad too, because the guy actually knew who I was. Like I guess someone had like told him who I was, or he did his research and like had seen what I had written before and was online and was like, yeah, I was probably like the backup writer, because he already picked another guy, because another guy had gotten to him like a week before or something like that. But then when he came back to me, I was like, dude, I'm so burned out, like, because I was working on this project, and I was like that close to quitting, because I was so burned out, and there was so much crap I didn't want to have to deal with, and the project had gotten so serious. Because, like, you know, when I started the project in October, it was just for funsies. It was, hey, let's play around with an idea, like some ideas, slap together a story, and then ship it out, and we'll see what people do. And then it turned into this huge monstrosity. I will say that, like, you know, the way, if you had told me what the Purist mod was back when we started in like October, I would either A, laughed in your face and said, no, not that many people will care about it, or two, I would have been like, I'm not gonna let it happen like that. So yeah, and then after I declined, because I told the guy, like, I'm so burned out right now, like, I would love to, but as I am right now, I would just be a detriment to you. And then, yeah. And when I told my pals about that, they were like, dude, you need to leave the project if you're at that point, because it's having a bad effect on you. So, yeah. I will say that it was that close, and I think the reason I stayed for the most part was, because I had art major friends, and I know how much work goes into their work. And I had already seen the work that Peach Cake had put into the Monika CG, and part of me just felt like I was just too guilty, I would say that. Like, knowing how much had gone into it, and like seeing it, and then knowing that if I left, that work might go to waste, I could not make myself do that to them. So, because I had art major friends, I knew how much went into it, and so I couldn't bring myself to leave purely because of that. And then also, I really, really, really wanted to tell the story of the Monika Route, and so those were the two things, plus some like friendly words of advice from people, like some of my other friends who said, if you want to stay with this, I'll support you, but like, you know, we'll listen to you, and we'll listen to all the rants that you do. So yeah, those three sources are the reason why I stayed with the project. Ooh, yeah, that was real heavy. Alright, let's see. So yeah, that was mostly just so I could get past the filler text, you know, just them being cute. Seems so beautiful against the sunset. It's rude to stare. And then it's like, oh, I brought her food. And then, you know, how much do I owe you? No, if you insist. And then, did you make any progress? I think I have a better idea of what to do now. And then, let's see. So, a bit. Gets up from the bench. Alright, so this is actually where the first Monika CG would have been. Because originally we had 2, but then we dropped it to 1. We dropped it to 1 CG per girl because of like constraints. Because, you know, we had a lot of there was a lot, you know, like there was just shenanigans in general, right? Hold on. So, you know, trying to not put too much work onto people, and so yeah. And let me see if I can go get it. So, yep, here we go. So this is where the first Monika CG normally would have been, like right here, never turns back towards me, gazing off into the distance against the setting sun, standing at the right angle where I can make most of a reflection on the glass panes. Something on your mind is keeping you from working well. So you can see here where Monika's like reflection thing. This is not originally what was supposed to. That's not what originally was there. Let me pull up what the CG I originally thought should have been, the CG that I envisioned being there. So let me do transform, stretch to screen. Yep. Or how about I do fit to screen, so that way you can see it. Nope. Transform, stretch to screen. Alright. So instead of this, you would have had something like this show up on the well, this would have been the CG essentially, but replace this girl with Monika. This CG here from Disarray. Yes, it is one of my favorite visual novels. I love the story. I mean, technically, it is kind of the story's not anything horrendously complex, but the way the characters interact and how they drive each other is great. And I really love, it's also like a Chuny VN, so I really love all the powers and everything that they get. But I just really, it's kind of hard to describe right now, just like coming up with it. If I had more time, I could probably put together a bigger reason why I love Disarray, but just like, everything just works so well together. The character interactions, the action scene, like some of the fight scenes are just amazing, and the way that personal philosophy interacts with like powers, it's great. But this scene right here, this CG is in Disarray, and this CG gave me the inspiration for this Monika CG interaction right here. And yeah. So this CG is what would have been here instead of Monika talking with like the 90% like fade in essentially. So yeah, that would have been Monika CG 1. But I didn't want to like toss too much work for the artist, so that's why I decided to say like, just cancel it. Where is Monika Route? I have to pull up the TXT file. So here we go. Into her reality here. As you can. Let's see. This is a game. This is a mod. Confuses me. I don't get it at all. And so this is where any suspicions you had were confirmed, that she knew what you were trying to do by coming here. I don't think I could have said this at the school. I'm a little too good at playing the part of club president. So it's Monika admitting that, like, yeah, the school is essentially is like her stronghold. It's where, so ironically, it is like this strange irony that she hates doing the like the fact that it's a game that's all pre-mediated, but yet because she wants to stay with what she knows and she wants to keep with what she believes. And so the best place to do that is the place that she hates. And so, I don't think I ever said Monika explicitly hates the school, but, it's kind of like, if you take the school as the symbol of the game, everything happens in there and everything in there is pre-mediated and whatnot. And it's essentially just, it's filled with the people that are just robots essentially, and and then when you try to take her out of it, she resists because that's her stronghold. It's despite the fact that it's everything that she holds, everything that she dislikes, it's the place where she knows where she can like stick to her beliefs. It's kind of like a fun thing to play with. I don't know, I guess that's kind of irony where it's like, the place that you dislike is the place that you want to go back to. Probably not. So yeah, here we go. This is the uniform excuse. Even here, wearing this uniform, I thought I might lose myself like I did at the festival. So she's explaining that the uniform is just another thing that keeps her grounded. So if she wore casual clothes, she might slip up again and be like, oh shit, I'm letting myself be absorbed. Is this a mod that I see? Hi, yes, it is. This is the Purist mod. This is technically like super spoilers, so if you if you have any intent of actually playing through this mod, I would totally advise that you you probably don't want to be watching, because this is like super spoilers. Unless you have already played it, in which case, thank you for playing it, but it's yeah, if you haven't played it, this is like the superest of spoilers. So, unless you want to be spoiled super hard, you may want to reconsider staying here. Come back when you've got your badge of suffering and anguish. Hey man, not everyone who read the ending suffered, okay? I know I didn't. But hey, I mean, oh, okay, you've played? Okay, cool, so we're good to go. Yeah, we're pretty much I'm just going through my route, because I was the one who wrote the Monika route and all the Monika interludes, and so we're kind of just going through the scene by scene, and where I explain what I was thinking at every individual scene, and how I was going to write it. And then at the end, someone has asked me for my honest opinion on the Sayuri route, because there was like a slight bit of drama, I would say, between some of the writers, or not some of the writers, but some of the staff. If you were on the server, you probably saw it. But someone wanted to ask me what my honest opinion was on the Sayuri route, and so I was asked that last week, and I said, okay, give me a week. I would like to, because I didn't want to give like a half-assed review that was like, hey, let me stumble all over everything that I think. I wanted to give a very clear and concise and thought-out review on it. But yeah, anyways, let's keep going. Let's see. Petty, there's still something in my control. Let's see. So this is another change here that I see in for the newest version for v1.1.1. You know, you can't save me from this place unless the code is edited. Nothing can change. That's how it is. Then let's see. Even the happiness they found here isn't real. So so why? For some reason, I get the feeling those words aren't directed at me, because again, this is supposed to blur the line of MC and player. Oh, okay. See ya. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't, yeah, like I said, if you haven't played, this is like super duper spoilers. So again, trying to blend the MC and the player here, where it's like the player is kind of, so originally that's what the blend was, and now I think with the console commands, because what happens here, directed at me, it's just like the rooftop again, and then here we go, guide entity MC guidance given. So it's supposed to be a little more explicit that yes, the MC is being pushed by the player, in that yes, here's the direction I'm trying to reach out to with Monika, so go this way, and so I mean, I think I kind of liked it without the console before, because it was a little more subtle in that you weren't it was a little more subtle in that you weren't really you had to make a decision about whether or not it was the MC acting or the player acting. And then I thought the words were like subtle enough to sort of that the two entities weren't merging, but Monika's view was that you two are essentially she viewed you as two separate entities at the start, but by the time by the time of the ending, that you two were basically the same person. And so that she was recognizing that you were acting through the MC, but the MC was also having his own thing. So I mean, I guess it could have been handled better. It's a very unique thing to do, I guess. I wasn't quite sure, but yeah. So yes, this is pretty much at this point that if anyone had any doubts, this is existential. This entire route is a love letter to existentialism right here. And because there's nothing wrong with finding happiness even in a dream. If there was any doubt that this route had an existentialism angle on it, this would blow all that doubt away, because this is pretty much, I mean, it's not exactly existentialism, but it's sort of like the life affirmation part, you know. If, you know, nothing is, if there's no purpose to life, then, you know, if there's no greater meaning, then what you do here matters anyways. Like, you know, it's what you do. And so that's why this right here should showcase to anyone that, yes, this has an existentialism slant to it. Because, like I said, the Monika Route is a huge love letter to that philosophy. So, let's see. See, that's what you think, but for now, I don't think I can read you the happiness I want. I had it for a brief moment. This was supposed to be an implication, talking about the space classroom. I guess I couldn't be called your happiness. I didn't want to settle on a dream either. And then so, you know, this line is supposed to sort of be like, Monika's saying, if it's a dream, I don't want to pursue happiness. At the end of the route, it is essentially reversed, where she says, I want to pursue my happiness even if it's just a dream, or like it's just a mod. And then at that moment. Okay, also this is also another thing that I think is a weakness of the Monika Route, is that I haven't seen anyone complain, but I will admit that it is a slight weakness that I think, is that it's very monologue heavy. Like, man, I'm gonna get a huge monologue right here. In that moment, it no longer mattered to me how much truth there was to this whole stuck in the game business. All I knew is that she was a student at the same school, as Sayori and I in the same year, competent at almost anything, and someone who was purposely denying herself happiness because she didn't think it was real because of where she found it. You know, I've been worried that the reason she cut herself away was that she didn't deserve happiness. Happiness is happiness, no matter where you find it. I think someone once said, anywhere can be paradise. This is an Evangelion reference. By the way, this was, I think, Yui Ikari said, anywhere can be... Let's see. Alright. So, yes. Yes, this is a straight-up reference to Evangelion. Yui Ikari, anywhere can be paradise as long as you have the will to live. So yes, this technically without the full quote, because I wasn't quite sure if the full quote worked. I just did the anywhere can be paradise, and then MC conveniently forgot the second part of that quote. So yes. Paying costumes too, if Monika had been right about the game stuff. And so this is where MC finally throws that away. He says it no longer matters. You know, and then makes this movement that says, so I guess if you wanted to take a look at it, this is the Night of Infinite Faith. So what happens is that, if I remember right, for Kierkegaard, the Night of Faith essentially, you essentially take like this impossible step, like in spite of everything that you've seen, despite all the evidence to like the contrary, you still move forward. And so this is kind of parallel to it. The exact interpretation of it, it's been a while. I took that class like 2.5 years ago, but that's kind of what it is that the like, actually, you know what, I'll pull it up right here. We'll read it, and yeah, we'll read it, and we'll show, and we'll, because I know it kind of compares to it. Let me see. It should be in literature. Yes. So yeah, you fully accept that following, you know, as in you follow an absurd goal, but you still make the most out of it. So the MC is kind of like ignoring it. He's pushing it away. He's saying, hey, you know, maybe finding happiness in the mod is completely absurd, but I'm still going to push for it anyways. Like I said, I hit the books for this route. It's fine to accept. Yeah, like I said, very, very monologue heavy. Should bring everyone here, or maybe it could be our place of inspiration, and then this is the MC saying, like, I know what she's trying to do. Monika's trying to go back to that persona, but you know, it kind of ruins some of the little cute moments because you know Monika is just acting. So yes. And then this is technically just more cute moments. And then we don't have a bus BG, so that's why it's just a black screen. Let's see, stepping in. All right, here we go. So tried my best. Go into the house. Right. All right, let's see. So, yep, this is the portion of the route I call while loop. Again and again until she learns. That was the... So, I definitely did not steal the Grisaya method of doing things in the... You know what, here, I can show you what I definitely did not do for the fruit of Grisaya. I will... So, I will highlight the text here, and then, that is relevant to the situation, and then so let me hit transition. So right here you see this text that says while loop again and again until she learns. Now I will go and let me see if I can pull it up. I should be able to pull it up. I just have to remember where did I save it to. Okay, so, alright, I hope this isn't too loud. System settings, can I sound, oh, okay, nope, alright, I'm gonna hope this isn't too loud. Alright, here we go, let me just, oh my god, that's loud. Oh my god, that's loud. Okay, you may wanna... You may want to turn off. Alright. Woo. Okay, back. Yeah. I'm sorry for how loud this is going to be in a second. Extra scene replay. So, yep, here we go. So we're going to transition to here. And then, so you'll see... Like, you have the little text here, and then at the top, so let's go to, yeah, turkey shoot. Or, the intruders, like, you can see here, or we'll go to, oh, I don't have Sachi's on here. I have to get my save file back, but you can see here, you know, cross purposes, Yumiko's attitude changes as the danger grows clear. Meanwhile, Sakaki Michaki pressures JV, seeking Yuji's removal. So, essentially... I definitely didn't take that here while loop again and again until she learns. Nope, I definitely didn't structure this like it was a Grisaya, not like a Grisaya or anything. Also, you can see my super lazy code. So we'll just go through this really lazy coding practice right here. So instead of doing the poem thing where you call the poem and then each day you go through me. All right, well, let's just do a bunch of interacts equals false. Lazily greet whoever's inside. You then call. There's a separate file essentially that stores all these interactions, and then you call through it, and then you just have like the day 1 scene. Then it just falls straight into day 2. Then you call the next one. Then you just fall into day 2's loop, and then it comes straight into the next one because again, TK is freaking lazy when it comes to coding. All right, so we will. Do that. Alright, so all of these are essentially just little nice cutesy moments because the whole point is Monika kept telling you, go be with the other girls, be happy, and then, she gets kind of, this is kind of just cute moments with Sayori. And then, yep, here we go. Let's just keep going. It's kind of hard to stop right where the, Time goes by quickly. Okay, everyone, that's all for today. Yay, that's good to hear. And then essentially, this is Monika talking about the place that you visited, and then let's go. All right, no rush. Bring food along. Oh yeah, I should be fine to go. All right, here we go. And then there is not much here, I think, in terms of narrative progress. And then yep. So essentially. This whole Natsuki's cute when she's angry thing. Yeah, this choice has no bearing on the actual plot. It does the same thing regardless. So again, just cute moments. And then turn around, Monika's like, "Oh, you dropped your pen. Let me get that for you." And essentially, it's supposed to be Monika hesitating about this kind of thing. So, you can see her expressions, and it's kind of supposed to be forced. She's kind of... This is where she's tumbling around. She's losing her, let's say, one-sidedness to her belief. Oh, yeah, this was just supposed to be... what is it? Next day arrives, Oh, maybe I should stop thinking so much about Monika. Lately, she's been everything I've been thinking about. Other people might call it love, but this is definitely something different. And I think this was supposed to sort of imply again that the MC is kind of an extension of the player, and so it's not love is not the reason he's pursuing Monika, and he gets that feeling. It's because some other there's some push from an outside entity pushing him towards it. Then of course Yuri's scene. By the way, I just have to say, for Yuri's little scene here, it took us... went through like 4 rewrites, because what happened was that, like, the book that Yuri gave you, like, used to be Portrait of Markov, but then we realized that, like, in the rewritten common route, that the MC already read Portrait of Markov, but then... So then I think I, like, switched it around in the modified common route, but then I would like be rereading the Yuri scenes and then realize, oh, I need to change that detail, and so we like get horribly out of sync, and so that's why I went through like 4 rewrites. It was really silly. All right, so yeah, just some cute moments with Yuri, and then Monika comes up behind you and is like, why are you so happy with them? Maybe because you told me to be happy with them. Sorry, I just had to drink real quick. Getting kind of thirsty. And I'm drinking some Arizona, half and half. It's delicious, by the way. # not sponsored. But, yeah, they are good. So, this is Monika. Monika's beliefs essentially crumbling. She's like, she said, because she wants to be happy, but it's not in a dream. But yet when she sees you being happy, yeah, I can visualize the arms around your chest part. Why do you think I didn't put Monika's sprite on the screen? Is I wanted it to be like you're looking out at the classroom, and you can't see the expressions on her face. All you can go on is what she's saying to you. And so, I thought that was probably better off than putting the sprite on the screen. Also, I just wanted to be lazy and did not want to put sprites on the screen. Because that means having to decide what expressions to use. So, why does it hurt? And then, why did you have to leave? Because Monika's like, well, we could have both been happy in the space classroom, so, why'd you leave? And you're doing all this to make me happy, and then this is the MC saying, this is where I won. You never denied that it... When she says, you haven't denied it's my route either, that's obviously talking straight to the player. That, hey, what's going on? And then, why do you have to tear that happiness down? No sacrifices. And then this new console thing, where it says, warning, direct action may have unintended consequences. This is purely just to scare people. There is no actual, like, I mean, you could, because the end of the game happens regardless, but, you know, I just wanted to scare the crap out of people when they saw no sacrifices get called and this warning pops up that says, warning, direct action may have unintended consequences. It would just scare people. That's it. There was no, like, big narrative reason behind it. It was purely just so people would get, like, really jumpy. No one... Why not? So, I heard those words that I said again. Frankly, I have no idea what Monika's talking about, but I can at least put together a few things. So this again was another line that was supposed to imply a blend of the MC and the player. Because, like, when you're on the rooftop at the school, you tell Monika, hey, you know, you say something, but you say, you know, those are my words. And the MC can't hear what he said. He's like, I don't know what I told Monika. Because it's implied that the player is pushing very heavily. But then as he gets on, it's like the player and the MC are becoming blended. The MC can hear the words that the player is saying too. And so I thought that was a little subtle enough push that you could tell that they were sort of becoming, you know, a more unified entity, I guess. So, you know, this is essentially another monologue. Part of the drinking game for the Purist mod, Monika's Route in particular, there's a take a shot every time there's a monologue. Yeah, a lot of this is monologues. So, you know, you give Monika her song, and then... Is that what you think? Yeah. And then I have to go. One of my friends is joking that your song, that all you wrote for your song is just, we'll bang, okay? And then Monika gets really hot and bothered and has to leave. So, I like this part here because it's, so I think an interesting thing to do would have been to do the Monika Route, but from Monika's perspective, because I think part of the thing that another weakness of the Monika Route is that the MC gets, I mean, he gets a little bit of development in that, like, you know, he gets confronted about it being a game, but then pushes it away. But that's not the real story of the development here. What the more interesting story would have been Monika's journey. Like, what did the MC's poem say? What kind of, like, because all of this is abstracted out. Like, she leaves and you say, well, I'm just going to give Monika some space to think about it, but you never get to see that that thought process. But then again, you can also have show don't tell, or don't show don't tell, quit while you're ahead. You don't, I mean, it doesn't have to be explicitly shown, you just have to see what Monika does and the way she talks afterwards. But I think another interesting thing to do would have been to tell the story of Monika's Route from Monika's perspective. But obviously, I don't think anyone would have wanted to do that, and it would have been way too weird as a narrative choice where all three of the other routes are from the MC's perspective, and then it suddenly shifts over to the to Monika's perspective. I think that would have just been way too weird. Oh, there's another someone take a shot. Oh, I hope maybe I should have been a little more delicate. So this is the MC doubting himself about what he did with Monika. And then, so let's see. So this is just essentially everyone worrying, and then you go over. Then you split up, and then you, of course, go up top. So it's the only place I thought I could find you. Can't say it wasn't. So this Monika being upset about, you know, she's complaining about, like, you know, I'm the only one who knows about all of this, and, you know, it hurts. Everyone else is scripted. They don't know what it's like. You know, they don't know how useless it's all going to be. So, this is her existential angst, like, it's not fair. And then she's saying, like, I told you go be with the other girls because you'd be happy, so it's my fault that you are, but, like, I was hoping you'd still be stubborn enough to chase me, but, why is it still hurting anyways? Because, and this, knowing you'd rather be with him, this was supposed to reference those 3 days that you spent with the other girls where you're just playing around. Because, there's this tiny hope for her where she was like, okay, well, you're just going to straight up ignore the other girls. I just want something. I want to see you happy. So why? I've already accepted it. I already know there's not going to be any happiness here. Just load your game. Go to any other routes. So, you could see Monika doubting herself yesterday, and then you could see it here. And then this is sort of like her ultimatum. She's trying to just push it away one more time. And, if you leave here, everything is, like, you won't get another chance. It's all I've ever wanted for you. And then this was a reference to her interludes where she's saying, I'm happy that you were able to be happy with Sayori or Natsuki. Even if it breaks my heart that you wanted to be with them, I'll still endure it as long as you're happy. It's probably better that I leave the picture, but not entirely, considering what happened. This is a reference to the end of DDLC where everything goes haywire. It's for the best. It's for the best. Who's best? Mine. Literature clubs. It's definitely not Monika's. So, whichever. And get ready for another monologue. So, this is essentially you trying to convince Monika, like, it's okay for you to be happy here. Whatever changed the world, it attributed some sort of value to you anyways. Which is technically a little counterproductive because the whole point of existentialism is that it doesn't matter whether or not you were given meaning. It's what matters is, like, sort of the meaning that you give yourself. Is another, like, tenet of it. So, it's kind of a little bit counterproductive to have something like that in there. And then this is Monika saying, everything's wrong. She's confused. She said there's no happiness to be found here, and yet there is. The proper words given. This is another, all right, here we go. Well, here's the MC saying something that the player wants you to say. I want you to be happy. I say the words that are given to me, but in the end, I believe them too. So again, the MC and the player are sort of now being more closely intertwined. You can, he was given the words, but he does believe them now too. I want you to be happy. So, same thing. And then, let's see. So, I think this is fine here, where I don't know if I believe you yet, but if everything I'm thinking being so wrong, then maybe you're right. And so I think this was nice too, because it's supposed to sort of showcase Monika's mental development. She went from rejecting you to teetering, and now she's seen that her way of thinking is wrong, but she doesn't know where to go next. But you are essentially that next lifeline that she can grab to. It's like, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if he's right, but let's go with his approach. Okay, let's go back to the club. Okay, and then let's see. I skipped the kind of important line. So Monika says, what is it? The view up here isn't one I can find anywhere else, so I wanted to savor it for a little bit. She's already back in her club president persona, it seems, but something in those words seems less fake than normal. So this was kind of like in Halo 4, there's that line where Cortana talks about how she can tell everything about this sun, but she'll never know if that sunset feels real. And I think this scene's kind of inspired by it, where it's like, she knows everything about she kind of knows everything about the world, how it's constructed, blah blah blah. But yet, you know, in contrast to Cortana, there's this feeling in her where she can enjoy this view. Like there is something in her that she can feel like this view is something I'd like to come back to, or this view is beautiful. And you know, it's not her being the club president anymore. This is something that, you know, there's something that she's found here that she likes. So that sort of thing. And then here we go. So this is just more cute moments. Let's see. So, you know, Sayori trying to be cute and be like, oh yeah, hey, let's write. Hey, you know, MC makes an excuse like, oh, Monika's just upset that not everyone is writing poems again, and we're not talking as much, blah 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 blah. And so Sayori's like, hey, I'll go write a poem. And then you're like, you're just slacking off. So, usual activities. Yep. Alright, here we go. So, my goodness. Alright, everyone get ready, because there is another monologue incoming. Oh my god. So, let's see. Go Monika, because Sayori completely misinterprets the situation in that this is Monika asking you out or confessing. What's going on? Talk to you, the only person. That's just everything. Yep. So, let's see. You can convince me of otherwise. No, I couldn't. But, I see Monika's hands curl up into fists. Her mouth opens multiple times, but she never says anything other than I. Countless thoughts must be running through her mind about what she wants to say. I don't know Monika enough to well understand, nor am I able to read minds. So I will admit that this scene is straight up some of this dialogue is straight up a reference to another work, to Oragaru or my teen romantic comedy Snafu. I'll pull up the relevant text here, but let me see. Let me go search for the let me go search through it here real quick. Alright, here we go. So, here we go. What I want. So, it isn't happy moments that she wanted. She wants, there was something else she desired all along. What she wants, not a beautiful smile, some dramatic kiss, a heartfelt confession, or even to have her problem solved. She simply wished for something that would last. And then, so, most of this is original, but then there's a little segment here. Essentially, this is explaining that Monika used that idea of wanting something real, something that would persist, as a shield. She convinced herself that, hey, this isn't real, then she would stop herself from feeling that pain again, when it was a rip from her. And so as long as she could keep that belief, she could push the MC and by extension the player away. But I will, let's see. Actually, let me get the scene here. So it's actually from Oragaru. There's this scene where it's like, let me read it out. So there's something else I desired all along. Not mutual understanding. Friendship, companionship, or anything of the sort. I don't care about being understood. I simply wish to understand, know, and rest easy in that knowledge, gain some peace of mind. So it's kind of a reference to that, where instead of saying mutual understanding, companionship, friendship, it's Monika didn't want a beautiful smile, some dramatic kiss, a heartfelt confession, or even to have her problem solved. And then there's a line later here that says, pursuing a dream that so blatantly goes against the seemingly objective facts of the world is awfully self-indulgent, egotistic, and is practically arrogance. This line is again kind of kind of references is Orogaru, the same scene, wanting to know people inside and out because being in the dark terrifies me is an awfully self-indulgent, egotistical and arrogant wish. So almost, it is one of my favorite works. So obviously I referenced it kind of like... Oh yeah, there's a lot of things that I snuck in references to here. Let's see. Even so, keep with me forever. And with that, Monika admits her selfish wish to me. So, again, this is kind of... I guess you could... I guess it is a little... it's not exactly existentialism, because it's like, I want something that will last forever and go with me. But the implication is, it's something that will... yeah, so I guess it is a little counterproductive, but we'll skip over it. Be with you every step of the way. I didn't care about the game business. I don't know. I want even more. When you said there weren't sacrifices, you have no idea how much I wanted to believe you. Sure, I'm talking to. It's like there's no difference anymore. Can we really do though? I don't know. So we'll go. So many things have changed. Let's try that again. Let's try heading out somewhere this time. Instead of holding yourself back, just do whatever you feel you should. Let's gather as many moments. Well, if we're wrong, then you don't know. So again, this is kind of them coming to terms with it. Right. So this is Monika's big mental shift, essentially. That's all for today. Need some time to think. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Alright. Stop, He considers going back to push further with Monika, but then doesn't. Said my piece. I just need to wait and hope. Hey, Count of Monte Cristo reference. Of course. It's Monday anyways, so let's see. So again, this is just more like cute moments. Hello. So let's see. Let's keep going. Okay, so here's another freaking monologue scene. Oh, I gotta take a shot because it's another monologue. Yeah. What's the object? What do you mean by what's the object? Alright, let's see. So another reference to the old game where Monika says, I regret doing that. Let's see. So long, kept pursuing things. So essentially, this is Monika's big turning over moment. The day before she had that teetering where you pushed her and then she was like, okay, maybe I'll believe you, and then you had the day go by, and now Monika's like, all right, cool, I'm on board with you, and let's do it. Then would you like to go somewhere this week? And this is where all the Monika fans are like, oh my god, it's finally happening. Alright, so yes, technically everything after this is very much filler. Like, even the Monika date for the most part is just cute filler. So let me save right here. So yes, even though technically this is not narrative filler in the sense of you can see this is showing Monika's transformation. Like, you can tell that it's supposed to come off as much more genuine this time around, that she's like actually enjoying herself, and that there are all these cute moments and everything like that. So yes, it is very much just cutesy moments. Also, someone raised an issue with takoyaki being asking if it was vegetarian. I know it's octopus, So I was like, well, it's seafood, so I don't know. I've gotten conflicting answers about whether or not that means it's vegetarian or not. So at this point, I don't care. I'm not changing that text unless someone unless there's like a huge, unless I see a huge news headline that says, "Hey, octopus is no longer considered vegetarian." So yes. So yeah, there we go. Also, apparently people really don't like that PA sound. Let's see. So yeah, this is Monika leaning forward. This is where I faked everyone out with the kiss because you all thought she was gonna kiss you there, and then it's like, nope, I just put the necklace on. Haha, gotcha. All right. So yeah, technically, it was cute filler, but from a narrative sense, it was, hey, look, she's no longer she's no longer down in the dumps, and she has changed. And then this is just Monika having a relapse. Wasted so much time, constantly pushing away happiness. I had so much, but now she's afraid it's going to vanish. So this is tackling that sense of time. You guys were, you acted like she could keep changing, but she knows from the start it's a game. It's going to end someday. And so she's like, I wasted too much time. I can't be like this with you forever. I can tell it's almost the end. And so you're essentially comforting her about that everything is going to, everything ends someday. But then, you remind her that it's not going to change anything. Like it could all fade away, but it doesn't change anything that happened here. So, even if the game ends, it doesn't matter because on this day you two were happy. It's kind of, so that was something that what is it? Yeah, that took a while to for some of the writers. I'll just put that out there that it was kind of a little difficult for them to understand that because it was like, hey, look, it didn't it invalidated their routes, the Monika route ending, because this is a spoiler, so everyone, this is a spoiler, and I assume everyone here has finished it. So, but it's kind of like, well, no, it didn't invalidate the whole point of the Monika route beats it over your head that even if it comes to a close, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that it came to a close. What happened here happened, and that is something that can't be changed. So, yeah. You essentially tell Monika that, and then that comforts her, and because she knows that, yeah, okay, everything might be coming to an end, but at least I had today. Like prod, it's almost my stop. Okay, if you insist. Alright, let's keep going. Yep, give me a second. Oop, my bad. Uh-huh. And, yep, alright, here we go. Everyone knows what's about to happen here. Hold on, I gotta, see. Alright, so, I mean, yay, it's cute. Everything is happy. Everything is happy, and and on your first reading, no one suspects a damn thing. Because it's finally so happy, and you're like, yay! And of course, this is how I get people. Oh, there's the sound again. Alright, here we go. Because of the game thing. And so this is Monika straight up telling you, hey, guess what? You don't have a lot of time. It's gotta be sooner than that. What makes you say that? Yeah, it's gonna happen again. Be with you to the very end. Hey! Finding it's gotten quite foggy. That's strange. It hasn't rained at all, and I don't think the forecast called for any. It's like it's impenetrable. Oh man, you have no idea how much I really love this. How much fun I had writing this scene. This scene right here was. I had seen it. So this was something from the very beginning. Like when we planned out the Monika Route, this was something that I had wanted for so long. And I mean, like, holy shit. This scene had been in there since like the very beginning of the creation. Let me go back. So Let me go find it. Ooh. I'm trying to yeah, this dates back all the way to like November. Oh my god, yeah. This has been in for a long time. But yeah, essentially, this had been... Oh, the comment on the... Don't worry, I got something special for you guys. For that, okay? Hey, you might also, Kaiser, let me just say... get your screenshot ready. Goodbye. It's the end. So yeah, there are actually extra scenes here. I will show them off here. Give me a second. Let me scroll down to them. So there are multiple scenes here if you close the game actually. Before the game closes out. Let me just show them off here. So, yes, if you close the game out, actually, Monika will say different things. So, what we're seeing right here is the first pass. Alright. But, you know, if you close the game here and you try to restart, Monika will say, like, oh, I know what I'm saying is going... Player or MC, I know that what I'm saying will make no sense to you, but I don't think I can stop this. Let's just have some closure. And then, you know, I might appreciate that you keep resetting things, but if you can only set this far, you know what has to happen. The fourth time is like, I'm really touched. I don't want to have a long, painful goodbye. And they slowly get a little more desperate, or she's just like pleading, like, because this is where Monika has essentially learned her lesson, though. She's like, you know, you're essentially, you carried her this far. She accepted things are going to end, and then you turn around back on it and say, well, I'm not going to let it end. And so it's kind of like she's come this far, and now you're essentially denying that final movement. Alright, I will switch back now to this. Fog, yes. Like that, more like a fade out. Ask you something, I'd like for you to read the lyrics. Can do that. So, yes. So a lot of people have wondered, yes, is this different? Yes, it's very much different. Your reality is obviously my reality. And then I changed a few keywords. I was mostly inspired to do this because one of the things that I really loved about Unlimited Blade Works, like the chant, is that you can change the entire meaning of the aria with one word. There is, and so my life has no meaning, and then you can change that to, and so my life needs no meaning, and it changes the entire point of the aria, and that's what I wanted to do with my realities. I didn't exactly want to do a full rewrite. I just wanted to change small portions that reflected everything about it. And so your reality, because Monika was addressing you, the player, now it becomes my reality because it's her and what she sees and her experience. And then let's see, sure, in my hand, yep. Instead of write the way into his heart, it's live the way into his heart. That was kind of just like, all right, let me just force this one. In this world of infinite, not choices, but illusions, because Monika has recognized it's a game. So, it's all just a big dream. What will it take just to make that special day? As in, if you don't have meaning, then how do you make it? Have I found something I won't lose today? When you're here, everything that we do will never fade away. So, again, sort of showing that with you, our experiences aren't going to fade. This one I was really like to sneak in, but, and if this world suddenly has a finale, then I will make sure to go with no regrets. Oh, that one was, I thought that one actually kind of worked pretty well. I mean, I know the rhyming scheme and whatnot and the syllable count probably got really screwed up, but I thought it was perfect. That, like, it seemed to just line up very well. And then, instead of, how can I write love into eternity? And if I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat, I'll just believe in your sincerity. And then, of course, and in your reality, if someday you disappear, I'll wait right here. And so, it's kind of like going on forever. I thought it was kind of cute. And it showed Monika's development. She had changed. Oh, it's beautiful. And then, here's what you have. And so, here we go. Sorry it took so long. It's fine. We could have had more time together. Wouldn't have been genuine. So, yes, I have wanted this scene for so goddamn long. I was so happy the first time when I saw it all work together. It was like the best thing. I was so happy that this scene came out the way that it did, and I was even happier at all the souls and hearts that I crushed with this scene. Every time I see people come into the chat and are like, that ending destroyed me, I smile on the inside, and it makes me so happy. And that is why everyone calls me on the server the Lord of all evil. So, this is just you and Monika exchanging final thoughts like, hey, just remember, let's even though the world is literally ending around us, let's pretend like we're just going, let's act like it will keep going. Because that's part of the beauty of the movement. Don't know what's going to happen. Death note when they get a heart attack. So I don't know if you'll remember everything, but Monika gives me an enigmatic smile as if she was sending a message through me for a second. I know you'll come for me again. And so this was a reference to the idea of eternal recurrence. So one of the things is that eternal recurrence was part of an idea, I think, with Nietzsche, where essentially a real life-loving a person who really loved life and living life would have the willpower to live their life over and over and over again, the exact same, no changes. So that means all of your triumphs, but also every single one of your mistakes. And if you had the willpower to live through that over and over and over again, then you loved life. And so this idea was in the Monika route here, where Monika is saying, hey, even if I forget everything, if the game resets and I forget everything and I've been reduced down, will you still pursue me again? Will you come after me? Will you endure everything for me again? Like all the frustration, constantly talking to me, trying to reach out again and again and again. Will you do that? So you say, yeah, I will promise that. I'll definitely help you out again. Then, there's so much I didn't say. One thing is, I love you. Kaiser, get the screenshot ready because assume control. Surprise! In my own personal build, because I can do this. You guys asked for it in the server, so I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to do it to him. This is not in the official build. This is not in the official build. Okay, this is not in the official build. This is purely because I wanted to prank you guys. Surprise! This is not going in the official build. I'm just going to say that. This is purely just to screw with you guys on the server. You should get a screenshot of it so you can send it to, you can post it on the Monika Route channel. Oh, they're gonna hate me. It's gonna be great. We'll fire stop. Yep, so essentially, can't feel my legs. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. So yeah, this is the like little nice cute scene. Because I don't have the actual kiss CG because I didn't want to, you know, ask for another one. Just close your eyes. Thank you. And then last thing I have to say. Woo! You too. This originally said like I should have said, so instead of saying what idiotic words to say, those might have been my last words. I should have said something else. I think the original phrasing was I should have said something cooler. But then I think Ninja, who was editing it, said, like, hell, that seems kind of weird that the MC would say that. Monika laughs, a real genuine smile on her face, and in that brief moment, yep. Yeah, ephemeral moment. I'm sorry, I had to reference DSRA one more time. Not even dust nor echoes, because, yep, I had to reference Halo. And that is the full Monika Route dev commentary. So that took about an hour. That took like almost 4 hours. So wow. So most people, I have seen a lot of complaints. Well, I don't think it's a complaints, but a lot of people have. I've noticed that a lot of people take a long time on the Monika Route, and I think it is a little bit inflated because you have to actually go through the modified common route. So that adds an extra 3 hours or so. Because that's generally most people. The most I see is generally people are on the Monika Route for like 6.5, 7 hours. Because it's long. So yeah, I will admit that it's a very, very long route. But, you know, the modified common route is like 3 hours of it. So really, like, if you have the time it takes to read everything after the festival, it's about similar rank. There's Null. So Nolwyn, you can thank Nolwyn for the Monika interludes. He was the one, and I think the opening, because he was the one who came up with the idea of having the interludes. I was the one who fully developed the them into something else. Okay, so after the credits, so let me just see if there's anything else. Here's the Sayori CG that a lot of people seem to miss. Because, yeah, TK coding everything. Yes, I was the only coder for this. Garnett gave us the GDLC modding toolkit. You still expect the return to the void after the credits? Well, you see, the thing is that unlike all of you guys, I have console commands. Actually, one thing I couldn't figure out for this credits, I wanted to make it that as they scrolled up, they slowly faded into white, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So maybe I'll see if I can figure out how to do it. But that was one thing I wanted to do, was as the pictures scrolled up. Yep, DDLC.mod, Purist mod, and modification. So yeah. Originally, so yes, then it takes you to this white screen that says there's nothing to do anymore, and then you get a choice. Originally, what I wanted to do was I wanted to have the mod just lock up here. You know, similarly to the end of DDLC, it would lock up. And then, you know, it would lock up and then you couldn't do anything further. I do remember that, like, in the dev channels, there was a lot of... some people who complained quite a bit about that. So I was like, all right, fine. I will add the option that you can reset the game easily. If you say that's right, essentially, it hides, and because you're saying yes, there's nothing to do anymore, so you would close the game here and it would let it end. Then if you say no, that's wrong, then it gives you this ominous if you're so sure, and then it deletes all your saves. However, because I have console commands, I can get around that and simply do persistent.autoload. And yeah, so essentially, yes. Oh my goodness. This is the one thing I don't like about the stupid console, is that it does this to me sometimes. Anyways, that is it for the entire Monika route. So, yes, I know someone did ask me what my thoughts on the Sayuri route were. Yeah, alright, so unfortunately Nell is not here, because I know he was reminding me, and I don't think the person who asked me about this is here, but I will give my honest take on the Sayuri. So I'll give my honest takes on all of the routes in general. So the Natsuki route, I did not have any major problems with it. Narratively speaking, I think it did its purpose. I would have introduced Datsuki along much earlier in the route. I would have, if I wanted to make him a sympathetic character, I would have I definitely would have introduced him earlier and made him much more sympathetic. I would have wanted you to empathize with him earlier. And so you need time for that rather than him showing up and then dumping the story at the end. I would have probably removed the flashback sequences. I know sometimes you can't get away from doing a flashback sequence when you have to explain someone's backstory. Yes, if you want to do it in detail, yes, it's going to end up being a flashback. I would have preferred a more a more solid flashback as compared to one very intermittent chunky flashbacks. But that's just personal preference. But narratively speaking, the Natsuki route did not have any glaring issues to me, and so I liked it. I thought it was good. The Yuri route is very short, and so there's not much I can say about it other than I think it tried to handle too many things all at the same time, and because of the development hell, it didn't really do anything. The way I saw it was that Yuri doesn't really seem to change from the start of the route to the end of the route. You don't really get any development. I also thought Senior was very cartoonish in that he just had he felt like a sitcom arch nemesis. He apparently just hated Yuri for no adequately explored reason, and the student body was mostly apathetic, which I thought was kind of silly. That's something I narked on for the Yuri and the Sayuri route. But other than the Yuri route was very short, so there's not a lot to say about it. I understand that it went through development hell, and a lot of it was written very quickly. So most of our checks are just whatever. Look, it's done. Let's just get it out and then finish. So that way we're not taking 8 months to write this one damn route. So yeah, I mean there is a video that I have about what I detailed that I would have done for the Yuri route. And then the Sayuri route. Okay, so let's talk about the Sayuri route. I spent a while. I spent a day rereading it, so I could get a good idea of what I liked and disliked. So one of my biggest complaints about the Sayuri route is Sayuri is what's the word I'm looking for? The lack of her autonomy. I have to explain that later on. And then it's just a general setting thing, that the student body essentially is kind of used plot devices. They don't really serve a narrative purpose other than just to make events happen. I mean, I can understand, using the student body to do something, but generally it should be done in a way that it's justified. Or it forces there's like these random students that they pass by, and the MC, and they call the MC and Sayuri like a dorky couple, and I'm sitting there like, okay, you know, the implication that I got with the MC was, oh my goodness, what the hell is that? Someone not like rang a horn outside. But so it's like, it kind of implies that the MC is known, or like they're infamous, or like Sayuri is known as well, and it just kind of comes off as weird because the implications I got were that they weren't really known. So to me, it feels kind of like soulless in the attempt of, hey, you should feel for Sayuri because these random strangers are assholes to you too, right? So that's the feeling I got. Also, one of my friends went through my things I had, and so I'm going to point out when it's a style, there's going to be like an actual narrative problems versus style problems. Style problems are more like my personal take on things, so they don't actually they don't reflect an actual issue. It's just what I would have done there. But yeah, that was something I didn't like about the Yuri and the Sayuri routes. The student body is just used to like push things around and make them happen. Like Senior apparently just can, apparently Senior can like email the entire student body, and the rest of the student body doesn't care. There's like female student who exists purely just to yell at Sayuri. Like, this is how I would have done it. If you wanted to use the student body, give it a justification. So, if you want them to be annoyed at the MC, well, maybe in the backstory you could have introduced that, let's say in the first year, there's the big culture festival. And the MC did something there. Like, let's say it was being held jointly with a school, and they were having, like, some soccer game between the two schools. And the MC was the one who made them lose the game, and so I don't know, maybe the school takes its soccer very, very seriously. So now everyone kind of makes MC a social pariah, and he's like the scapegoat for it. And so now you can understand why the student body doesn't want to deal with him, and that's why they make fun of him and Sayuri. That's why when he's like, they boo him at the poetry when he like reads his poem out loud, it's because they don't like him. And that's an actual justifiable reason. So now the student body isn't just to push them around, but it's an actual in-setting thing. And so the MC has to deal with it and forces him to change. So, that's something, it's kind of like that's more of a style thing. I guess it's fine to use just random NPCs as plot devices, right? There's no actual issue with it. But for me, that's like a style choice that I wouldn't have made. I wouldn't have used the students just to force a situation to happen. Like, the situation should happen because the character did something before, and then it pushes someone around, etc. That's how you get a character. A character is pursuing a goal, and because they did something, because they did X, Y happened. That's what I like it. So, it just feels soulless to just have the NPCs do it for no reason. They're kind of like designated villains. Alright, let's see. So, and then one thing I thought was kind of funny was that Sayuri's thing where she lives through making others happy, never really gets like addressed. And then another issue I had with the Sayuri route was, let me scroll up so I can find it. There's these dream sequences in the Sayuri route, right? One of the things I didn't really like about the dream sequences was that they come across as very random. Like, dream sequences are a tricky topic. I don't think the Sayuri route really needed them. That there's plenty of other ways to make the MC being terrified of and expressing his fears of losing Sayuri, and I think the dreams should have happened later on, when he was much more attached to Sayuri and more afraid of losing her. It could have worked, and I don't really think you needed a dream sequence for it. And the issue with it is that they didn't really add much narrative value. Like, they didn't tell you anything different other than, hey, the MC is like scared of losing Sayuri, but then the timing is all weird, and it should have happened later. And there were probably better ways than, like, oh, you had a nightmare. Like, I don't need to be terrified of losing my best friend to have a nightmare of my best friend being run over by like a car. It can happen. So that's a thing. But that's another style argument. Like how you choose to portray your character's emotions is up to you. But one of the things is that it didn't really have. So yeah. But this is where I also draw the difference between the dream sequences and the flashback sequence, and the Natsuki route. So the Natsuki route, they at least foreshadow and they explain Natsuki's behavior, and then they foreshadow her situation. There's like some narrative value in there, and some of the dream sequences in the Sayori route, they tell you like that the MC and Sayori knew each other as a kid. That was something we already knew, so it doesn't have any narrative value to it. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the fun part here. This is where a lot of my issues came along. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so this is where the big thing is. So. The scene where Sayori explains her past, this is a big narrative one. This is why I joke that the MC clearly goes to... Hi, Banana. I'm explaining why I didn't like the Sayori route by going through it beat by beat, essentially. It's why I joke that the MC and Sayori clearly go to, like, the frickin' Sith Academy. Sayori is essentially painted as like Jesus. Well, okay, not exactly Jesus, but like, because even Jesus got angry and he had a moment where he asked not to die. So, but then like Sayori is fucking purity incarnate. So I've always been aware of how selfish people are. It's wrong that so many people just live for themselves, even though we call it a society. We live in a society. Jokes aside, this line I think starts the fundamental issues in the Sayori route is that her viewpoint is never challenged. Now, like, you can believe this line is true or false all you want. Like, that's not the issue here. It can't, because the thing is that it can't be denied that Sayori is, excuse the pun, but like suicidally selfless, right? There's sort of a line I remember from episode 0 of ReZero where Subaru says something similar about Amelia. That a person, this is very heavily paraphrased, I'm probably getting it wrong, but a person who is constantly living for others can't possibly survive. End paraphrase quote. So, Sayori's depression and her inherent lack of a selfish drive, as you can see this here, where, she's saying it's wrong for people to live for themselves. So you can see that she has a very inherent lack of selfish drive and extreme selflessness. And those are very important aspects of her character. And so for me, if you want to stop her from offing herself, that selflessness is something that absolutely needs to be addressed. Because you can interpret her suicide in DDLC is that to her it was a selfless move. She was removing herself from the MC's life because she was like, I don't want to be a distraction. And then also when in the hidden in the delete Monika ending from the beginning, Sayori, when you see the Sayori Hengi, says, now everyone can be happy. You can sort of tell that she's a extremely selfless person to the point where it's detrimental to herself. And so this is an issue that has to be addressed, right? So if you want to stop Sayori, yep. So this is something you should be addressed. And the MC doesn't seem to take a stand against this. He doesn't challenge this at all for the most part. There's like 1, maybe 2 scenes max. And so, he feeds into it. And, I'm going to stop there because otherwise it's going to bleed into my... Okay, Banana, I will get into the difference between Sayori and Emiya later because this is actually a very good comparison to their developments. Okay, so anyways, let's talk narratively about how over the top Sayori's backstory is and why I take umbrage with it. So Sayori mentions that when she showed weakness, like people turned on her, spread rumors, and then shun her out of her lives. And I'm like, wait. So, hey, what's going on? So, And I was just wondering, like, is everyone that Sayori has ever run into, every elementary school kid has been that much of an asshole? Like, I don't get it. Like, what? I'm sitting here like, you're joking, right? So remember that they're like in high school, and this is Sayori's backstory growing up. You're telling me like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, every single kid was an asshole. Not one single parent tried to help, and not a single teacher or counselor tried to help, and that every single person was apathetic or an asshole. And that's why I felt like so overblown, and it felt so over the top. And then if there was ever a day she didn't feel like smiling, every person that she met was like, "Hey, yo, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna ruin you socially." Like, what? The MC was the only decent person she met in her life. So, that's why when I was reading it, I was like, what the hell? I mean, I guess if you want to make Sayori seem like a puppy that has been kicked around too many times and that you absolutely have to save her from harm, I guess it kind of works. But, like, it just feels like really over the top and poor characterization. We didn't really get an image of her struggle. It's just that, like, every single person did it. We didn't get to, it couldn't have been like, we didn't get the build towards where she, like, to the people and how the world essentially isolated her. We could have had, her parent. You should have mentioned that I kept smiling to my parents, and they could never see anything wrong. And so, when people would ask her what's wrong, and then she would not say anything, or she would try to say something, and then would just be like told, it's like, oh, okay, that's how kids are. And so her faith in herself and her selflessness need to be built here. And so, but we're not really given any other reason to cheer for her other than the world is full of assholes and we have to protect her. Like, when I was reading this, I didn't get maybe it's just me, but I didn't really get the feeling of her struggle. Like, I didn't quite understand her struggle. It was just like, okay, well, a lot of people are dicks. But then it's like, wait a second, you're telling me these elementary school kids are dicks too? Like, this is why I was joking that we have Yakuza preschoolers, is because, man, all of these kids are terrible. And I was going through my coding recordings earlier, and I was joking that, like, okay, well, clearly all of these kids are just going to grow up to be actors. That's why. So, everything is forgiven if you just tell me every single one of these kids in the school was going to go into Hollywood. I'll get into this later, because I thought that if Sayori had a backstory like this, she wouldn't be deathly selfless, but she would be more vengeful about it. And so it feels like a logical disconnect. Zepatina, yeah, sure. If you're in the server, then yeah, you should be able to just ping me, or you can DM me if it's there. I'll probably get to it after I finish this, but yeah. Well, I'll touch into this later because a friend of mine brought it up to me, is that there's the depression that comes from bullying and depression, like clinical depression. It's all good, man. And we'll get into it later because I'm not like an expert on the subject, but he's told me about it, so I'll get into the difference later. But then there's this very good line right here that I don't want to be selfish and all right, here we go. So Sayori says, "I don't want to be selfish and hurt others, even if the selfish way seems to be the best way to survive." This line tells you everything that everything you need to know. Again, that Sayori's suicidally selfless, and my biggest complaint is that it doesn't really seem to be addressed. So let's go through her backstory here, and why it feels like there's also another logical disconnect. In kindergarten, Sayori saw a kid steal a doll because they wanted it, and so you kept quiet because friends. Okay, that's fine. Like, honor among thieves, you don't sell out your friends. But then your friend pins it on you, and the thought doesn't go through your head that maybe that girl isn't your friend, you didn't fight back or anything, because it then jumps to, and then I decided I would do everything I could to make others happy. Where is the logical connection? Like, wait, what? Where's the driving justification for this? How did that incident affect you to the point that you made it? Like, what? Like, here. Eventually, my friend pinned the blame on me to avoid getting into trouble. The girl she stole from hated me for it, and I could feel how much she hated me. Ever since then, I promised myself I'd do everything I could to make others around me happy no matter what. Where's the logical connection here? You would figure that instead of trying to make everyone happy, you would be socially burned. You would not trust anyone. You wouldn't try to make other people happy. You would be like, everyone's an asshole who's out to get me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a miser. And so, Banana, this is where I had it, where let's talk about another selflessly, like a suicidally selfless character, Shiro Emiya. This is Sayori's justification for being suicidally selfless, that some other girl framed her for stealing a doll, and that made her want to be selfless. But so then let's contrast it to Emiya. So Shiro gets his selflessness from his survivor's guilt, and a modification of his mentor's teachings, where he took sides. And the thing is that everyone tells him he's twisted and he's mentally broken for trying to live the way that his life is, where he lives purely for others and to serve others. And a lot of his development is resolving this, whether it be people challenging him and he sticks to his ideals, whether it be, accepting the flaws in his ideals but pursuing it regardless, or outright abandoning them. And that's where a lot of the conflict comes in, and his development comes in from resolving this. We don't get a challenge to Sayori's viewpoint. No one ever calls her out on this or challenges her. The MC says one time, it's okay to be selfish, once, and that's it. And then let's go to another gem. So Sayori says, at the age wherein children attend elementary school, they become selfish. And I'm like, wait, what? I understand that kids can be rambunctious shits, because when I was in elementary school, I was an asshole. Okay, I got in trouble a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I used to actually have a behavior chart in elementary school. Okay, that's how much of a little shit I was. But everyone is a little bit selfish. This line goes completely unchallenged. and then let me it doesn't even beat this though. The other kids, the next line, right? The other kids noticed I couldn't do anything to defend myself, since that would mean hurting them physically or emotionally. So they started to force me to do various tasks for them. I'm like, wait, what? You're telling me in elementary school, you're hurting them physically and emotionally if you tell them no? If they say, give me your doll, and I say no, it's going to cut them across the chest. Is it what? Why do you, and then forcing you to do favors for them? Why do you think I call this the Sith Academy? Oh, hey, what's up, man? Yes, you're late. I'm in the middle of my review for the Sayori route. So and then when you read these lines, you realize these kids are in elementary school. And so what you did was you got framed by a friend for stealing a doll. People used you, and people used you and forced you to do things, and yet you still decided you wanted to make everyone happy. Where's the connection for this? I don't see it. A person who went through Sayori's experience would not be selfless. They would be socially burned. They would not want to do anything with people. And it's also you mean you also never had a time where you got conflicting orders and that maybe you had to reconsider your ideals? And again, why are 8-year-olds doing this? Okay, it was kind of the not hurting people is the main objective, so just think of the worst situation now. Well, yeah, but we at this point it hasn't been said that Sayori has depression at 7 years old, right? This is her backstory that leads to her selflessness. But I mean, the start of it all. So it was in kindergarten where framed, right? I don't think Sayori was depressed at like 5 years old. So we're talking about the build all the way up. This is still the elementary school years. So, it seems kind of like a stretch to say that she already had depression at this point when she's like 7 years old. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a psychologist or anything, but it just seems kind of weird that, to try to use that as the explanation. But like, you would figure that Sayori wouldn't be selfless here with this backstory. She would be really, socially, she would not like people. She wouldn't be trying to make people happy. She would just be like, everyone's an asshole. I don't want to deal with them. That's what I think when I read this one. I don't know. To me, it's just like, it's narratively confusing because you're getting this backstory. You're getting this backstory of like, everyone has completely demolished me, but yet I still want to make them all happy. But we don't have a good justification of why, despite all the people that hurt her, she wants to make them happy. We jump from, hey, some girl framed me, and now I still want to make everyone happy. There was nothing there to justify it to me, narratively speaking. Okay. So, that's what I thought about the backstory. And then there was, like, the guy who... So, here we go. Let's see. One of them, a boy in my class, seemed to genuinely care about me. He always defended me. Eventually, I got a crush on him. I would buy him sweets. Hell, to make him happy since I was secretly selfishly hoping he would like me back. Because, apparently it's wrong for people to like you. And again, I have to ask, why is Sayori's viewpoint is again never challenged? It would have been one thing if her idea of friendship had been skewed from the kindergarten experience, but if it's implied, it's very lightly implied and isn't really touched on. But like, it would have been good to have like a deep exploration of why she thinks this way. We don't really get a good understanding of despite the fact everyone keeps hurting her, I want everyone to be happy. We don't get a good explanation that if this is Sayori's ideal, that despite all this pain they cause her, she needs to make them happy. I didn't see it. Because again, we jump from, hey, I have a friend, I didn't rat out my friend betrayed me, so I should make everyone happy. Like, what? Again, if that's the jump starting incident that then makes Sayori, because again, that's like we said, that's the jump starting, yeah. It would have been interesting if the MC challenged her ideals, and that's what makes Sayori fall in love with the MC. Yeah, that would have been nice, but we didn't get that though. But like I was saying, because we can tell that Sayori not saying no to anyone and trying to make everyone happy, we can, at this point in her years, so let's say the kindergarten thing happened 5-6 years old, this is happening 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, so we know that she has a concrete world ideal at 5-6 years old, and that's what's feeding everything at this point in the story that I'm highlighting here. We didn't get, like, it just doesn't fall into logical place. Because, if everything happens because of this I have to make everyone happy ideal, well then we have to figure out why she wants to make everyone happy. And that's built on very shaky ground because, again, I don't betray friend, then friend betrays me, therefore I must make everyone happy. It's a entirely weak foundation. So, yes, so with the end of this backstory, essentially, we get Sayori's purity incarnate, a puppy that has been kicked once too many times by the rest of the world, and a deep complex where she lacks any inherent selfishness necessary to self-preservation, and any selfish acts on her part are like a facade to keep up a smiling face. This can be seen in like the day 2 cookie scene, where, Sayori tries to con you into buying her a cookie. It's obviously a selfish act. It's all done as a facade. Let's go over MC's rebuttal to her ideals. Okay, Sayori, listen to me. I won't abandon you. I'm not like those assholes. I value you as a person, not for what you do, but for who you are. There isn't really any question of me finding someone better. Even if I did get other friends, I would never abandon you. As for you thinking you're worthless, you're not. Definitely not. You're worth so much more to me, and you're much better than you think you are. Isn't the fact I'm standing with here point of that fact? If I haven't abandoned you when you're at your lowest point, you don't have to worry about me abandoning you in the future. Besides, as someone who's been abandoned by several friends and treated as a walking joke for most of his life, I know how you feel. Now, for me, that last line kind of came off as like, because the MC's back, like, we haven't talked about the MC's backstory at all. As far as I'm concerned, in DDLC, it sounded more like the MC was just a completely average, normal dude. No one cared about him. Like, he's the kind of guy that if you took the student body and you asked, hey, do you know this kid? 75% of them would say, never heard of him. About 12%, like 15% would say, oh, he was in my class last year. And then the last 10% would be like, yeah, he's in my class now. That's the kind of thing I see with MC. In the common route, we didn't get that he was abandoned by friends or whatnot, and treated as a walking joke for most of his life. I didn't really get that from the backstory, so I was like, okay, but let's just go back and let's just step through this rebuttal of what she said. Sorry, I had to drink some water. My throat is killing me. But I just wanted to ask, do you see a direct or indirect rebuttal of it's wrong to be selfish in this entire block? Because I don't. And this is a driving force of characterization in her backstory. Everything stems from her lack of self-worth and her suicidal selflessness. And there is a line, let's see, where is it? Later, there's a line where it's like, let's see. I'm going to find it. I don't know. But then, so after this scene, after the backstory scene, like the next day is the Sayori almost getting hit by the truck scene, right? And then there's this line right there where Sayori says, I'm not used to it and I don't want people to care about and value me. And so we have what Sayori wants. And it's like, but you can tell that it's the driving force behind her. The fact that of this selflessness, that she doesn't even want people to value her or care about her, because to her, like, her viewpoint is to the point that people even caring about her is her being selfish, because it's taking away from other people. It's like Shiro Emiya. He lives for other people. There can't be any room for selfishness. And so, again, this is why her selflessness needs to be addressed. And then it's just like not. The MC never does all this time, MC still hasn't done a direct rebuttal. And then there's this wonderful line here. Let me find it where they're talking here. Let me see. So this is the good end, essentially, where you don't get confessed. But let's see. Right here. If I don't love myself, how can I ever expect any relationship to end well? This right here. Sayori's lack of self-worth stems from her insane selflessness and her view on selfishness, and is explicitly stated right here. She knows this, and yet we still hold that so we know that Sayori's holding this view that that no one should care about her or value her because it's being directed towards her instead of other people. And yet she also still admits her love for the MC right here. And it's just like this weird disconnect. She was saying up above that she's conflicted, that she does want some love too, but it shouldn't be here. She should be admitting her love after she's been challenged more. And so, to me, this is like narrative and, this is kind of narrative kind of style, but what should have happened is that after this truck near miss incident, the MC notes like Sayori seems incredibly conflicted. Like it shouldn't be after this action scene. Hey, what's up? After this action scene of the truck nearly running over Sayori, what should happen is that there should be this quiet scene afterwards where Sayori is just like incredibly conflicted. She's not where we know that she's we know her selfless drive, but we also know there's that tinge of selfishness that wants her. And so the MC notes that she's conflicted, and you just need that time right there where Sayori is allowed to reevaluate her worldview. Just no words. Both of them are just thinking there. And Sayori's, and in the background that you can't see it, Sayori is trying to do mental gymnastics to figure out, how do I say I love you without, and get you to love me without it being selfish. And this is where the MC would say, it's okay to want something, Sayori. Because it is a direct attack on her selflessness. And it's the perfect moment because her guard is down, she's conflicted, and she's ready for a mental shift. And so that's where it should have been done, because it allows it, because you have that moment where Sayori's guard is down and you get to tackle the main conflict. So again, it's kind of a style argument because it's not, it would have to change the entire narrative structure to get it to be like this. But again, that's how I think it should have been done. And this is another thing that I thought the Sayori route did too, that the Yuri route also did, where it tries to handle too much. We have the scene later at the park that is a clear analogy to Sayori's depression, how it's always cloudy. But then we also have to deal with her suicidal selflessness and her lack of self-worth. Now, those last two are clearly linked to each other, but trying to tackle them all at once is way too much. And that's why, for me, when I did my plan for the Sayori, I started at the source, her selflessness. If you tackle that, then you can start talking about everything else. And so, you just need to solve that problem, and then you can do your little happy epilogue where it's like, okay, we're getting the rest sorted out. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the closest to a refutation of Sayori's "it's wrong to be selfish" that I could find. Okay, so Sayori says, "My love is selfish." MC says, "I don't mind. You've been selfless for too long. I think you should allow yourself to be a little selfish. If you can't, then try to be selfish for my sake." "You mean make yourself happy by taking care of myself?" "Exactly. How would it make you feel if I didn't take care of myself? I'd be beyond worried." This dialogue should have been done way earlier, narratively speaking. And it's far from what's necessary. Sayori gives in way too quickly. And they're clearly at a calm in this scene too. There's no supercharged emotional conflict that would make Sayori think that there needs to be a change. They're at a calm. Her guard is up. There's no reason for her to reconsider her beliefs right here. The truck scene, near death, dramatically tense. That was the perfect opportunity to have that hard-hitting refutation change her worldview. But this is a scene where they're just chilling out on a date in the park, and Sayori is just describing her depression being a rain cloud. The MC saying you should be more selfish should have been met with a flat, "I'm sorry, I can't think that." Because Sayori's too much into her viewpoint to change. Even the "to be selfish for my sake" line wouldn't do anything for her. In fact, it just helps Sayori with her mental gymnastics. By taking care of herself, it lets her warp it into "I'm being selfless by taking care of myself." It doesn't help her change. It just feeds into her viewpoint more. And so it doesn't let her develop. Let's see. Yeah. And again, and I'm reading off of my notes here because, like I said, I prepared for this almost like an essay. Again, Sayori gives in way too quickly. There's no pause where she tries to mentally contort to make it fit her viewpoint and then realize it can't. So it's kind of like, eh. And then, there's the romantic dinner. Okay, it's cute fluff. I didn't really see any. I saw like one. So there's like one little characterization moment where Sayori says, right there, "I wish to be with you forever." What was that again, Sayori? About you wanting to, still struggling to be selfish? Like, I know, let's assume that at work where MC says it's okay to be selfish because it, for yourself and take care of yourself. Well, this whole "I want to be with you forever" is a very, very, very selfish statement. And Sayori hasn't reached. How did she make friends with the club members in the first place? I'm assuming Monika. But yeah. That line just comes off as not very. It's a very selfish line. And if we're still at the point where Sayori is struggling to be selfish, why would she say something like this? It doesn't make sense narratively. And then, of course, after this, there's like another dream sequence, which is like K. It doesn't really serve any narrative purpose to just other than to make MC like nervous about losing Sayori. But really, if MC fully understood Sayori at this point, then it would be the furthest thing from his mind. Also, you guys can see my comments now. In the dream, I see Sayori kissing another guy. Lol, cucked. He turns back to her and continues kissing her. The NTR folks are busy unzipping their pants. Why is everyone in this route an asshole? Yeah. So decompile the files if you have some time. And then after this, we get the F student scene, which, again, I this is kind of a style argument too, but this scene is out of nowhere. It's just like this kid from nowhere. This kid is purely to make Sayori's life hell. And apparently MC is motherfucking Braveheart. He ran away from some public attention before, but now, like, this is the hill I die on for Sayori. # White Knight. I mean, it's kind of... I mean, I can understand that, yes, when your friends are under attack, you change, but, like, it comes off as a bit of a glaring inconsistency. That, like, he suddenly jumps up this much when it wasn't really brought up before. But again, is like this F student is just brought in purely to yell at Sayori. No motivation. I mean, I guess, sure, you had a bad day at school, but again, I think it would have been more effective had it been done with like a... It would have been more effective had it been done with an actual character or something like that, rather than just like, here's a student to be an asshole. And again, this is why I call it the Sith Academy. There seems to be a lack of any relatively decent kids here at this school. So, and again, students brought up just to push the scene in a particular direction, and that's all they exist for. They have, like, no bearing on the setting otherwise. And then, oh boy, so then you go to the rooftop, you comfort Sayori. There's just some more scenes there, and then you go home to study. And this is by far my favorite scene, because you play Sayonara. and then of course, the psychic depression attack. Well, yes, the female character was just there as a plot point to move the story forward. To never be touched again. Exactly, yeah, that's... I mean, again, technically, it's not a narrative issue. It's a style issue. I wouldn't have done something like that. It kind of annoys me, so... that's why I'm separating these into narrative issues versus style issues. Because, obviously, narrative issues are things you can point out and say, yeah, that's wrong every time. A style issue is something that you can say, I'm fine with it, or, I'm not fine with it. For me, having F student there just be to push things in this way comes across is that something I don't like. So again, style argument, it's objective. But okay, so here we go. The psychic depression attack. So all I could say when I read this scene for the first time while coding it was, what the fuck? So apparently depression now can possess you and give you super strength and yell at her, and then she just doesn't want to listen to these loud yelling voices in her head. And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? And of course, it can be beaten by the power of love. And it's just like, what? What the fuck is going on? How? What? What's happening? Why is Sayuri being psychically attacked by depression? What? You know what would have been a much more... Alright, serious talk. You know what would have been a much more powerful scene that could have done this? You imagine Sayuri just having a scene where she's alone in the bathroom and is confronting a mirror image of herself. Yes, it's incredibly cliche, the whole mirror confrontation scene. But it could have been a testament to how far she had changed if she had changed mentally by this point. It's not the MC pushing her and comforting her that brings her back to life. It's Sayuri making a conscious, uninfluenced choice to accept those words and not just something there. This is why I also complain slightly about Sayuri's autonomy, is that she doesn't ever seem to make a decision on her own. Things just happen, and then the MC will push her and she'll cave. I never really got the feeling of Sayuri made a conscious decision to change herself without anyone's influence over it. So I would have liked, it could have been the MC can be a crutch for her that drives her improvement, but there has to be some scene that Sayuri herself, without anyone's influence, decides that her life is worth living. That she chose to pursue therapy without the MC pushing her. That she was the one that made the choice to live. That sort of thing. Some people might be annoyed by this psychic attack scene, but it didn't piss me off, as it made me just sigh and then laugh. Because I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't even know anymore. Alright. So of course, then it was followed up by this scene where apparently the MC is dreaming again, and Sayuri and the MC as kids are being chased by dogs. I don't know how. What? I didn't know that little kids could outrun rabid attack dogs, but sure, okay. Yeah. And then, okay, I guess this is kind of technically a style argument, but this dream sequence adds no narrative value. What does it tell you? It tells you Sayuri and the MC were friends. And I mean, there's and we patch up your doll. I don't think this doll ever appears or is relevant in the story. So again, this scene adds no narrative value. It tells you the MC and Sayuri are friends. You should have known this for a while back. If you got to this point in the story and you didn't realize that the MC and Sayuri were childhood friends, hot damn. First off, I would like to personally give you an award. Alright. So then we have a time skip. Time skips are fine. Time skips let you at least say, hey, some time passed, and that means you could assume some things happen. So, yes. Also, yes, there's a deja vu joke. This is taken from the DDFC. Deja vu, I've just been in this scene before, leaping from the sheets, and Act 2 is a go, tied a noose, and the rest is a mystery. Alright. So then we get to this part. Some girls in my class saw me typing on my phone, stole it from me, and read our messages. And they said horrible things. And then they told me to break up with you, or they'll tell everyone about my depression. Okay, so first off, I would just like to say, what the fuck, this really is the Sith Academy, because all I have to say is, you mean in the school, no one would shame you for that. Like, everyone at this school is perfectly fine being that asshole who, like, laughs at people for having a mental disorder or a mental illness. Like, what the fuck? Okay, sure. Okay, everyone is a terrible human being at this school. What the fuck? Okay, sure. Why not? Sure, that works perfectly fine. Okay, and then, so, you know, like, what? All right, let's just keep going. And then, yeah. Sure, let's just have the kids do this again. The kids serve no purpose but other than to make life hard for Sayori. Yes, okay. Yeah, if you come out with the fact you are depressed, people are probably going to coddle you, which is an entirely different issue, but it's the opposite of ganging up on you. Yeah. I mean, that sounds much more believable because, look, I mean, I haven't read a long depression, but if I knew my friend had, like, actual depression, I would pretty much put on the kitty gloves. You know, that's probably not the right thing to do, but look, like, I would be really careful about them. And, you know, maybe that's not what I should be doing, but that would be the instinct. Okay, and then this one just seemed, this was a contrived coincidence for me. This is what I didn't like about this. I guess this is technically style. Sure, narratively it makes sense. Style, bleh. But so, on the way home, I noticed a stray dog in my garden. It was trying to pull something out of a bush. Oh, look, it was the rope that Sayori was going to use to hang herself. So you're telling me, for a month, the MC didn't move this rope? You've been dating for how long now? You've had plenty of time to move it. And then just happens on this day, a stray dog gets into your frickin' garden right there to discover the rope on the garden on that day. How convenient. Okay. Sure. Why not? Again, style argument. It technically the narrative story fits. I can't narc on it for having, like, a, you know, the story is still narratively coherent, but it's a contrived coincidence. It could have been handled better. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go into this thing where it's like, because I'm in love with you, and then there's this scene right here. This dialogue is okay, you know? I want to live. Her voice becomes more confident and powerful, just like when she reads her poems. I want to live. I want to live. I want the sun to come out for once. I want to stay alive, to be by your side, so we can both find happiness. We can find happiness together. It's a cute scene. The dialogue is there, but it is completely narratively unearned. Sayori goes to being afraid to living with people knowing about her depression, and again, still hasn't had her selfishness, challenged, except for one time. And then she suddenly goes to, I want to live. All without tackling her lack of selfishness or extreme need to live her life for others, and now suddenly she wants to live and find happiness for herself with the MC. It's like the dialogue is fine, but again, it's narratively unearned. Sayori hasn't had enough of an arc where she went from suicidally selfless to I want to live my life. There's not enough of a gap in between because no one ever challenged her. The MC challenged her one time and said it's okay to be selfish, but in this way you can bend to be selfless. You know, take care of yourself because then I will feel better. And that lets Sayori contort that into I'm being selfless by living for myself. But, you know, by taking care of myself, I'm being selfless. And so it doesn't challenge her viewpoint. So where has she changed? She hasn't changed. And so this entire scene, while nice and the dialogue is nice, doesn't work. It's narratively unearned. And then Like, what? And then, yeah, okay, sure, why not? Let's just keep going. And then, this is what I think, this is probably like the icing on the cake for this one. Let me jump to it. So, here we go. I'm sorry, and I promise I'll change and become better not for your sake. I love you, but I'm not sure if I love myself. But if I don't love myself, how can I ever feel comfortable being in a relationship with you? Nothing has changed. This is at the end of the route. You can see this. This is right before that, like, the cute, let's go watch the fire together. Nothing has changed for Sayori. Her core belief still hasn't changed. And it's only now that she's having to have this mental conflict that she resolved in, like that. Where she went from, I don't want to be a burden on you, to, I want to live and be with you, in the span of, 10 minutes. This question right here, if I don't love myself, how can I be comfortable being in a relationship with you? This question right here should have been the driving question behind this entire plot line. Finding the answer to this question, or questioning her love for herself, should have been the entire plot line here. So we don't get this until the end. Until the very end. So, what? And then again, she hasn't changed. She still says, I don't love myself. So why was she saying that she wants to live too? It doesn't make sense narratively speaking. She's hopping all over the place. And then, it's still unearned. And again, we see that Sayori hasn't changed at all. At the beginning of this route, she didn't love herself. She thinks that she needs to serve everyone. And here at the very end, she still doesn't love herself. What has changed? Yeah, exactly. What is change? What? Nothing has changed. She hasn't changed her mentality or anything. There hasn't been any development. There's been the illusion of development with her dialogue, where she said, oh my god, who the hell is spamming me? Jeez. Okay. I just got, a ton of crap. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. But yeah. So, I'm sitting here just okay, that's neat. Yeah. Let's keep going. And then, where... oh my god. So, let's keep going. To this, epilogue is let's see. Because I have the... okay. So, and then I think this line... I'm amazed at how you've grown. It's all thanks to you. It's because I have the best boyfriend in the world. This line to me here speaks volumes about this route, and that's why I complain about Sayori's lack of autonomy. Because it feels like MC is the one who pushes the changes onto Sayori, and then she just reacts. So if, you want to play the whole Sayori is changing for the MC angle, sure, but it means that her problem is never truly solved. She's living the same life as before. She's still suicidally selfless, and the only reason she takes care of herself is because she can mentally contort it, where it's well, I'm living for the MC, so if I take care of myself, then I'm doing good for MC. She clearly still doesn't really love. She says she doesn't love herself, and all of that, and then she never made a conscious decision to live for herself without the MC pushing her. And it's just to me, at the end, this is saying that the MC that Sayori's entire life is dependent on the MC. Her entire existence fundamentally revolves around him. And so for me, the way I would look at the changes of the characters is, let's compare Natsuki's route and Sayori's route. Let's say the MC dies in like 3 weeks after the route, right? What would happen? For Natsuki, like, you know, yes, she'd be sad, but at the very least, her trust in her father has been restored, and she can form good bonds with people again. For Yuri, I can't really say much, so that's why I left her out. And for Sayori, she'd crash hard, because her entire life is dependent on the MC. I mean, the bad end, like, the bad ending is okay. I didn't want to go into the bad ending purely because it was like, okay, well, let's, you know, narratively speaking, let's go through the whole thing. And so, you know, some people might say, you know, what about, you know, the realism, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, this is just me purely going off of what's been said narratively speaking here. So, you know, that's why I fundamentally dislike this route, is that it just feels like MC pushes Sayori along. She doesn't really seem to actually do anything for herself. Actually, ironic. I don't really know. I'm not familiar with the bad end. But yeah, that's my review of the Sayori route. So yeah, that's why I didn't really like it. So, you know, we could say, so the main reasons, I guess, would be Sayori's actual lack of change. And then 2 is Sayori's lack of character autonomy. She doesn't seem to do anything for herself. So yeah, that's all I have to say. If anyone has any like disagreements, I would be fine. I would love to talk with someone who has disagreements. We could do a back and forth about it. That would be perfectly fine with me. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for joining the rest of the Sayori route, or the rest of the Monika route. I hope you guys liked the nice surprise that I gave you. I know Kaiser was there for the nice surprise. And then, yeah. So that was my honest opinion of the Sayori route, beat by beat. Some people might ask if I would go through the Monika route, and yeah, I mean, I just wanted to share what I saw. You know, if someone wants to share what they saw, and then, you know, we can hash it out, you know, that would be pretty cool. I would definitely be up to talk to someone about that. It would be, yeah, because I mean, it would be super cool to talk with someone who thoroughly enjoyed the Sayori route, and then we could talk about the plot line. And you know, we could you know, say like, well, you know, this is what didn't make sense, this is what made sense, and maybe, you know, maybe I just missed something. That's entirely possible, is that I just missed something, right? So you never know. You know, because I mean, I could be totally wrong about something and not even know it. So, you know, if someone went through this whole thing and corrected me, then sure, why not? Let's go. And then we can talk. We can have like a debate and talk about it, and then we'll see if we can come up with, like, you know, something better. As I was saying, I think someone also, I consider that some people might ask, like, oh, why don't you tear up your route? I could try to tear up my route, but for me, I think I'm gonna end up being like someone else would have to go through it, because I'm going to be blind to every mistake that I commit, obviously, because I'm gonna look at my route and I'm gonna be like, well, that's not a mistake, and someone would be like, no, that's a mistake. So yeah, I would like to see someone do that. That was my biggest hope, really, was that someone would go through the Monika route and, like, not necessarily hate it, but would, like, dislike it, but then would be able to come and talk to me about why they disliked it, and then we could have a discussion about, like, well, what could I have done? What would you have liked to have seen? And then, you know, like, have that little constructive criticism talk where we go back and forth and then and yeah, and then maybe we could come up with a plot line for a stronger Monika route. So yeah, that's why I won't go over. I definitely know that for one of the things I know was a definite weakness of the Monika route was trying to got TK constantly waiting for months for someone to roast him with serious arguments. You have no idea how long I've been waiting. Like, that was my number one thing when we posted is I was just waiting for someone to roast me for the Monika route. Hey, what's going on? But then let's see. So I know one of the things that I definitely know one of the weakness for the Monika route is it is super monologue heavy. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure at least 50% of that route is monologues, or at least a solid 25% is. Hey, what's going? Yeah, you came at we're at the tail end of the stream actually. We finished the dev commentary probably almost 2 hours. Oh my god, it's been almost 3 hours. Jesus. Okay, so it's been more like we got there about an hour and a half ago. I think another weakness of the Monika route should have been, I definitely think there could have been more room for the MC and Monika to have a much more serious discussion about, rather than the MC being very vague and just feel but then again, that would have been delving into more having a philosophical debate, and I don't know how well that would have flown over with people. But I think it could have been done to help smooth Monika's transition into her new beliefs. Yeah. But yeah, those are my two biggest things when I look at it. I would definitely like to see someone tell me. I would definitely like to see someone who had a different idea of how it should have been handled, and then we could hash it out. Something similar, but MZ is too much of a dunce for philosophical discussion. See, this is why when I write protagonists, I try to do more I'd like to do more intelligent protagonists. I would say most of my protagonists tend to be well read, or not necessarily well read, but at least they read more than most people. I also generally, like I said at the beginning, I like to have principled protagonists. I don't really like to have I would say weak protagonists in that they kind of just pinball around. I want them to have things very clear idea of things they will and won't do, etc. and whatnot. And and then they pursue their goals, or if they can't pursue their goals, they're preparing for when they can pursue their goals. That's the thing. But yeah. That's all I mostly have to say. I was considering doing, well, actually, I'm not going to be able to stream on Fridays anymore, but I was considering doing, VN reading streams, except more with, this writing focus to it, analyzing the narrative structure, looking for foreshadowing, analyzing characters as we go along. If you guys would be interested in doing something like that, I would totally be down for it. Is self-sus if you rule your PC? No, because I'm an organic, so I think that's considered interracial. Hey, now what's up? You missed the Sayori route review. We're kind of just talking now. So I'm thinking though, I would probably do the streams on either because I'm out Saturday evenings. So I would either do the VN streams Sundays or Mondays, because I'm busy every other day of the week. Oof. Oh, that sucks, man. But yeah, if you guys would be interested in doing something like this, where it's just I stream a VN, we read it. I read it, we look at the narrative structure. I feel why the Sayori route was so loved is the fact it gave something really relatable. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I didn't really find myself relating to it. Just I guess for me, I couldn't find myself relating to it because Sayori's character didn't make sense to me. Like I said, she was betrayed socially by so many people over and over and over again, but yet she's just like, oh, but I must make everyone happy, and there's no adequately explored reason for it. And you know, for me, I feel like that person would be socially burned from that first incident. Like the difference. So, let's say it was Shiro Emiya, right? You know, people could hurt him, and he would still be suicidally selfless because he has his survivor's guilt, and he has and he has like a modified version of his adopted father's ideals, and those are things that guide him. For Sayori, her everyone needs to be happy. I need to make everyone happy. Come from her being betrayed. So it doesn't make. That's why I guess I couldn't relate to it, is because it just felt so jarring and it felt so strange. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Also, yeah, no, it should be up on YouTube shortly. I'm guessing. I might have to fix some things later. There were some like technical hiccups. So I'm going to probably edit some things out, and then yeah. But yeah. I mean, we can probably try Mondays. It would probably be better doing a Monday stream than a Sunday stream, because I would be trying to wake up early. Yeah. I'd be trying to wake up early so I can go running on Mondays. I'm slowly preparing for hopefully one day a 5K. That's been a goal of mine, is to actually do a 5K. That's definitely on the bucket list. But yeah. So yeah, maybe not next week, but like the week afterwards, we'll do a VN stream. Let me just blacken out the screen real quick. So I've got. Let me do her standby image. I don't know what time the Monday streams would be. I mean, I think I would probably try either Sunday or Monday. I would be doing like a 6:30, like 6:30, 7 start time for the for these, and I'd probably just read for like 3 or 4 hours. Narrative review. No, I couldn't do clan ad because I would want to do things that I haven't done before. I would want to do something I haven't done before. So, or things I haven't done in like forever and I completely have forgotten. So like I technically have read Analog, A Hate Story, but it's been so long that I can't remember any of it. So that would be up for review. Clanad, I haven't read it in forever, but I know the plot line and the characters and everything. So it would impair my like ability to go along with it. Yeah. I mean, so I've got a list of Ameno Marginal. I have Analog, A Hate Story. I have Eden Star. I have Fault Milestone 1 and Fault Milestone 2. I have... Let's see. I have... I am refusing to read Nekopara. I did kickstart Newton and the Apple Tree, which I haven't read yet. I was waiting to get the physical copy shipped to me. I'm still waiting for my physical copy. So that's the thing, is like when I kickstarted Libra of the Vampire Princess as well, and technically there was the digital download, but I waited for the physical download because I wanted to install it from the CD. And so technically I have Newton and the Apple Tree, but I really, really want to wait for the physical CD before I install it. What other ones do I have? Oh, I have Sunrider Academy as well. We can do that one too, because I mean that'll at least the monotony of the game can be broken up because I know there are some there's some RPG elements to it, so we could do that too. So we can make a list for that, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, likely I won't stream next week, this upcoming Sunday and Monday. I'll try to organize something the week after, and then I'll let you guys know how it's going to be, pretty much. But yeah, that is everything I have to say, unless anyone has any final comments on how it should be. If My Heart Has Wings, yeah, it's a good one. The thing is that I think I've recently read it, so I recently reread it, so that's why I don't put it on. I don't have it on my list of things I would read. I mean, it's cute, sure. And of course, technically, I could have a fanboy stream too, where I read Dies Irae, because anyone who knows me knows that I love that goddamn VN. And so yeah, we could read that one too. It would pretty much be me fanboying over it though, so I don't really think I could do that one as a read and analyze stream, because it would just be me being like, oh my god, I can't wait for you guys to read this scene. So we'll see. Whew. Alright, anyways, yeah, I'm probably gonna close the stream now, so that should be that. Unless no one has anything last things to say or anything. I'm gonna give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I have 2 fingers up on my hand for some reason. I'm glad I don't have the face cam, because otherwise that would be really embarrassing. Okay, see you guys.